Hey there, and welcome back to Crusade with me. I'm your host, Dave, and today we're continuing something we started in episode 97, talking about masculine and feminine energy, and why balance between them isn't just some poetic concept, it's the key to harmony. And today, we're getting personal. We're talking about marriage. And yes, we're talking about sex, one of my favorite subjects. Because if you're married and you're struggling to connect, if your intimacy feels flat or confusing or simply gone, if you're both busy, tired, and wondering, where did the spark go? This episode is for you. It's not about fixing each other, and it's certainly not about blaming or demanding or withdrawing. It's about learning to see each other again through the lens of energetic flow. The masculine and feminine rhythms between you. Hello, my queen.
Hello, my love.
I am excited. Super excited.
Oh, I can't wait.
Well, and I think we've talked about this on other episodes in the past here about this is something that we have personally experienced, right? And this goes back 5 years, probably, and probably before that a little bit, but in the last 5 years, and keep in mind, in a couple months, we'll be celebrating our 39th anniversary. Mm-hmm. And so that puts us well over 40 together. I think this episode is appropriate for, and I was thinking about, do we need to put a disclaimer on this one? And I don't think we're going to talk about with any specificity anything but just in case, all right, I do want to be aware. I want everybody to be aware.
If you're riding in the car with the kids,
save
this for later.
Yeah. I mean, not that we're, like I said, we're not going to be talking about, this is not, it certainly is not going to be anything pornographic, all right? It's just because we're talking about energy, and we're talking about balance, and we're talking about masculine and feminine, and but we are talking about sexual energy, and there's something, once you start learning to understand and or recognize sexual energy, and I'll be honest, I didn't start really truly recognizing sexual energy till about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think my parents would just, oh, you're a pubescent boy, you're a horn dog or whatever. You know what I mean? What they're really talking about is sexual energy. We just didn't know it. We didn't know what to call it. We didn't know what to say.
Right.
So we've recognized it in the past. Uh-huh. And look, we've been together for a little bit of time, mm-hmm. right? And again, trying not to go into any specificity, and not to say we are experts at any, because I've said how many times, we are not experts at anything. We're just talking about life experience.
Right.
All right. So we have, we've been through the droughts. We've been through droughts of experiencing and fulfilling sexual energy and balancing sexual energy in a lot of ways. There's the sexual energy drain of raising children, mm-hmm. right?
Right.
There's the sexual energy drain of career paths and all these external things that happen in the dance we call life.
Right.
There's the drain of being a caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these things work against, remember, back in the day, and I'm going back a long way, there used to be a TV show called, and this was on public television, this is prior to cable television, Love American Style, right? Do you remember that at all?
I do.
Do you? Okay.
Had fireworks or
Yes,
something.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the fireworks, right? Where is the spark? Where is the fireworks, right? That's kind of what we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. And if you've been married 20 or 30 or 40 years, is it still there? And you can still have that spark. How much of it is, and I've talked to a lot of people, that spark is not just about, it's the sexual energy it's not just a teenage thing that we were teenagers and tended not to keep our hands off of each other. All right. That happens in new relationships at most ages. Mm-hmm. It's not just a teenage thing. It's not that hormone thing that I think my parents, or at least my mom, dad had no comment about anything until it was, I'm going to crack your jaw. Right? His other famous line was, I'm going to jerk a knot in your tail. Right? God bless him. But but there is this energy in a new relationship. You can't stop thinking about that person. You can't stop, oh man, you can't keep your hands off each other. All this, that's the sexual energy we're talking about here. That's what I really wanted to say. And full disclosure, I think, I don't know if I ever shared on any episode I have alluded to. And honestly, learning about sexual energy is what prompted me. I've made it very public that I had done a deeper dive into Taoism. And it was because of this very subject. All right? Because Taoism has a portion of it that is actually related specifically to sexual energy. And I paid a pretty penny, and I took a course which will remain unnamed because I don't want to support or distract from. And that course, it was an 8-week course. That course was absolutely phenomenal. And it was the course, the title of the course was Sexual Mastery for Men. All right. And it was twice a week. I had to do a 2.5-hour video conference with what I thought was going to be, less than 5 other men and the instructor. What blew me away was in that 8-week course, there was like 1,200 men on the video meetings or I don't know what you call that, but
virtual.
Yeah, the virtual learning. And we could not comment and we could not raise a question unless we had our camera on, to so you could see. They could see you.
Right.
And it was a great course, and so I learned a lot. It wasn't cheap, but I learned a lot during that course. And one thing I'm trying to figure out, what do I know really well so that I could get 1,200 people to pay me $1,500 for 8 weeks, but I haven't figured that out yet, but because I don't know much. But that's really what this episode is about. So, yeah, I guess this is your quasi disclaimer that if you are, don't listen to this in the car with young'uns, and I'll let you determine what age young'uns are. So there's that disclaimer. We are talking about sex. And so let's start with the honest truth. Most married couples are not struggling because they don't love each other.
Right.
Right? I want to be real clear. They're struggling because the flow between them is blocked. We live in a world that pulls couples into what I refer to as survival mode. Work, chores, kids, stress, noise. We're constantly reacting, right? And in that chaos, we lose sight of the energy that brought us together. What drew you to your spouse in the first place? It probably wasn't just compatibility. It was polarity. You were different, but you fit. You brought out a new energy in each other. That charge, that mystery, that magnetism. That's the spark. And that spark comes from masculine and feminine polarity. So let's start with you. What energy do you lead with? You need to ask yourself. When I feel most at home in myself, I don't know how else to put it, am I steady, focused, action-driven? That's more masculine. Or am I creative, emotional, flowing, receptive? That's more feminine. See, neither is better. One isn't right and the other wrong. But one is usually your core energy. Your spouse likely has the opposite core energy. Now, that can change situationally. We can shift energies throughout the day. But in most healthy, lasting relationships, there's some degree of energetic polarity. One leads, one flows. One provides structure, one brings movement. So here's the trick. If both of you are living in your masculine all the time, there's no attraction. If both of you are in the feminine all the time, there's no direction. If neither of you feel safe to be either, you're stuck. That's not broken love. That's blocked energy. So here's where we get into more intimate sexual energy is creative energy. it's not just for intercourse. It's the fuel behind playful, passion, connection, and even purpose. When this energy is blocked or neglected, couples drift. They become co-managers, roommates, or logistical partners instead of lovers. Sexual energy isn't about performance. It's about presence. It's not about frequency. It's about quality of connection. And just like masculine, feminine dynamics, the energy needs polarity to spark. Putting it bluntly, but this is nature. Masculine sexual energy wants to penetrate, take the lead, to offer depth and presence. Feminine sexual energy wants to open, to receive fully, to be seen and desired without pressure. So here's the issue. If a woman feels unseen, unheard, or chronically in her masculine, she can't soften. And if a man feels disrespected, criticized, emasculated, he can't lead. So the path back to intimacy isn't technique. It's energy alignment.
What you just said right there was so powerful. So important. So simple.
Yeah.
It sounded so simple and basic, but it is so true and so powerful on both sides.
But that's God's design.
Mm-hmm.
God designed us. We are made in God's image.
Mm-hmm.
I have said how many times we are created to enjoy sex. Mm-hmm. It is not something that we should be ashamed of.
Mm-hmm.
It is not something that we need to cower or be.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the West, it has become this topic that you shouldn't discuss. You can't talk about. It's inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
You know my philosophy, my love. When you and I are connected, and there's nothing inappropriate about anything. Mm-hmm. Anything.
Mm-hmm. But going back when a couple episodes when you said, what does a woman want? And I said,
right.
It starts way before the bedroom.
Absolutely.
It starts in the morning. So
yes.
Saying a woman needs to be seen
yes.
to receive, it starts in the morning at the coffee pot saying good morning.
Correct.
It starts with a little text during the day. It starts all there. That's when you get her motor running.
Correct.
And on the flip side, you can't emasculate a man all day long and then expect him to be, say, ready at boom boom time, as my granddaughter would call kissing, boom boom time. And we're not going to correct her. But
maybe we should, actually.
Well, that's not our job.
That's right. You're right.
So I mean, it's so important for people to get that through your heads.
Yes.
That how powerful that whole layout was. And
like I said, we've gone through these seasons of our lives, right?
And we will continue to go through these
But when
as life dynamics change.
Yeah, but as we learn, and we've learned some things here in the last 5 years, how to help ourselves, how to unblock some of these energies,
Right.
how to fan the flames, so to speak.
Right.
All right.
Right.
It's you're right. You're right. And again, I'm no expert, and I fail a lot of these things every week. All right, I'm no saint, or I'm no.
Well, right, because when
everybody does.
right, when you're in the moment, you can't sometimes think about what's happening. You're just in the moment.
Right.
You're charging through them, and you're not thinking about what's going to happen in the next moment. You're just in that moment.
Correct.
But you do try to take pause and be like, wait a minute, let me rein myself in here a minute.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I am trying to get better at that, but I'm not perfect.
None of us are. Right. None of us are. And just like with what we talked about with last week at the horse show, it's not about perfection. It's about being there, participating. And our sexual energy is the same way. And I think most people can admit, or they get that they know what we're talking about without describing it. And I'm probably terrible at talking through this because my vocabulary is vocabulary is so limited. Well, when it comes to this subject specifically, without going down the porn route, which is an absolute travesty to exactly what we're talking about.
Right. The damage it's done.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And this is my PSA to people out there is I was reading an article. It was about there is a generation of kids today that have no concept of sex other than
what they've seen.
Pornography that they have observed on the internet. And it is out there in force, readily available. And parents can have all sorts of precautions that they can, whatever. But they are going, they are going to find it. They are going to find it. And it's a travesty that is what they think sex is, because that is nothing to do with sex. And
it's damaging to men. It's damaging to women because that's the bar has been set in a man's mind for a woman.
Yes.
So
yes,
I mean,
yes.
So that's damaging to them, and it's also damaging to their spouse, or it is just so bad.
Yes.
So bad.
Yes. On so many different, and we're not even talking about the objectification of a woman or a girl or whatever. I mean, there's that whole, and they are those people that are in those pornographic. They're no different
that industry, right?
That they're no different than cattle. Literally, no different. And that is a travesty, because you're talking about a person, a human being, a complete human being that is, and it's tough. That is terrible. But cultivating sexual energy, let's give the folks some practical steps. Let's make this real and grounded with a few practices married couples can use. So we always have to create polarity on purpose, right? So if you're masculine at your job all day, make space to soften at home. Or vice versa. One partner initiates with grounded presence. The other responds with open receptivity. Don't compete. Compliment. I want to say that again. Don't compete, complement each other's energy. We can have a daily energy check-in. Ask each other, what do you need more of today? Direction or flow?
Oh, I love that.
Can I hold space for you or offer structure? So this opens the door to understanding each other beyond words. Now I want to talk about what this isn't about foreplay for sex. This is about connection.
Mm-hmm.
So try 5 to 10 minutes of just holding or stroking one another without agenda. Let the feminine feel safe and seen, and let the masculine be fully present. And sometimes we have to practice being in the opposite energy. So if you're usually the one who leads, let go for a moment. If you're always nurturing, ask to be held.
Mm.
Play with the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Explore each other's energies without labels. You know, you can cultivate sexual energy outside of the bedroom, and that's exactly what you were talking about earlier. Play, laugh, flirt, move your bodies, cook together, dance, go for a walk without a destination. Sexual energy is life energy. It wants to move. Let it. Here's the hard part for me a lot of times, and it's the challenge of letting go. And that's the hardest thing for couples to do, is to let go of the story. This is just how we are now. Bullshit. That's not true. You're not stuck. You're just out of rhythm. Right? Mm-hmm. We've experienced this.
Mm-hmm.
You can reconnect. Not by working harder, right? That's the old American way.
Mm-hmm.
But by becoming more aware, more intentional, and more curious. Let your marriage become an experiment in energy, not blame. Every day, ask, how can I support your flow today? How can I soften? How can I lead? How can I see and honor the other person's core? And that kind of attention is deeply attractive. So I got a challenge.
Of course you do.
This is designed for married couples. Identify your core energy and your partner's. Talk about it with openness, not ego. Number 2, Find one way each day to create polarity. It could be as simple as one of you taking the lead on dinner while the other just flows. And number 3, rekindle your sexual energy by tending to the space between you, not just your physical acts. And that's what you were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4, number 4, practice presence. Yes, I have to put down my phone. Look your partner in the eye. Your eyes are beautiful. And touch without a goal. And number 5, this is something I really enjoy. Reflect together. Not on what's wrong. We have those cleaning the lens sessions.
Mm-hmm.
But what you miss, what you long for, and how you can co-create it again. My queen, do you have any closing thoughts that you would like to share?
I was just going to add that it's okay to laugh in the bedroom.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just funny.
Yes.
Funny things happen, and it's okay to laugh.
And leg cramps and hip pointers and all those other things too,
At
right?
our age, those things happen.
Yeah.
There's funny noises that happen.
Okay.
Your toes curl, and then you get Charlie horses, and then that's just funny, and then the other person's laughing, and it's just funny.
It's okay.
And it's okay.
But we're comfortable.
That's
just the key.
Right.
Because...
And it's endearing.
Well, yes. And that's because people have it hammered into their head that this is a performance.
Yeah.
Right? There is
a ritual that you have to do it.
Yes.
Get done.
And you have to get there. And you have to do this. And you have to do that. Now, this is an odd thing, because like we had learned, and I've been trying this for a couple of years now, where I do have some markers, right? I do, there's these old books. I was an author of a book, She Comes First, right? Mm-hmm. That's very Taoistic, and I'm not saying that's wrong. I think that's actually excellent. Mm-hmm. And through the course that I took, there was actually a ratio that it should be 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1, that a woman should have that many more orgasms than a man, right? Mm-hmm. And so how you get there and how you do that. And Taoism has a belief that a female orgasm can actually heal issues within the body, mm-hmm. which is what I was that's why I took that. That's why I paid that money for that course.
Because you were trying to heal me.
Yeah, I still am.
You're such a giver.
I'm trying to, You have a chronic illness.
I like your other idea, the hysteria doctor idea.
Yes. Well, let's not, look, I think did we talk about that on the episodes?
I don't think so.
Look, years ago, and I'm talking about in the late 1800s, in this country, in the good old U.S. of A., there was something called hysteria. And that was a woman being completely off her freaking rocker, for lack of a better term. I don't know how else to put it. And there's validity and truth in all of this, all right? It's amazing to me, again, God designed how we end up And a lot of things in life end up going back to our sexual energy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what doctor's cure for this was? They would have the woman come into his office and he would, by hand, bring her to orgasm. And that's the cure for hysteria. And I try to be your hysteria doctor. What's wrong with that? But
so I want
do you understand? But listen to what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
There's validity in this ancient Chinese belief about Taoistic practices about a woman's, and we've talked briefly and a little bit about the divine feminine and all this, and there's absolutely, this is designed by God. So how we cannot say divine feminine is beyond me. I think it's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
To put it very bluntly, and this is where the children should not be listening, is where I took the Sexual Mastery for Men's course, the 8-week course, the same woman had a course called the Well-Fucked Woman, okay? Which
Mm-hmm.
is kind of back to the doctor hysteria,
Mm-hmm.
that it can help a woman's self-esteem. It can help a woman think more clearly. It can help a woman physically in her body. It can help so many things in life. And guess what? That's nothing to be ashamed of. That's designed by God. I've said this how many times, right? And again, this is not the children portion of this program by any stretch. So we are made to enjoy sex. Period. I forgot the exact number, but it is a ridiculously high number of nerve endings on a woman's clitoris.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no value for the woman's clitoris other than sex.
Mm-hmm.
None. Why did God design a woman with that many nerve endings in that location? But to enjoy the stimulation in sex.
I guess that tracks.
In my mind, I don't know how else to.
Right.
So why all this, shaming and back, and so for those who have been married for a long time, and I'm raising my hand because we've been married for a long time, it's refreshing and fun, isn't it?
Yes.
It is to have our eyes opened a couple of years ago, 5 years ago or so, and have these conversations. You know what? I enjoy the conversations, just the conversations about intimacy and sex and so forth.
Right.
And you talked about get your motor running. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can have, if I can have you having multiple orgasms, and then that energy can carry through a day or two and do it again. That's design. That's God design.
Well, also the I feel like I keep saying the same thing about communication.
Sure.
That conversation that happened 5 years ago was something that you had been carrying around for a lot of years and was afraid to communicate with me.
Right.
And that's why I say over and over and over, communicate is the key to marriage, to a healthy, successful marriage. Because if you don't, it comes out in so many negative ways.
As fights and arguments and yes, right. and then burying and avoidance.
Right. And once you are able to allow yourself the freedom of communicating, and it wasn't earth-shattering when we finally had this conversation. It took a little time to...
It was to me. It took me hours to be able to get through what I was thinking and getting the words to put out there that you could,
Right. But for 30 plus years, it was very regimented.
Our sex was very transactional.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously,
like,
it was
check that
transactional.
off the list. Okay, we're done.
Right.
and, see you in a month. Nice to see you, move
Right,
on.
right.
And obviously things have changed. And then in the beginning, it was like, why did it take us so long to get
I
here?
agree.
It was almost like almost mourning the time that we had lost.
I'm trying to make up for that, okay, baby? I really am. You need to get on, paint your wagon red and join the parade. Anyway.
Anyways, I just keep wanting to encourage. I feel like I can't encourage people enough
No, that's
to
beautiful.
talk to each other. Not just about this, but just so many things you don't know what your partner is carrying around that needs to be said.
Yes.
Just
yes.
Don't think every conversation is a fight. It just may be something that they've been
Right.
carrying around that they're afraid to talk about.
No, that is awesome. So let's leave it at that. Let's remember this. Masculine and feminine aren't roles. They're energies. Meant to complement, not compete. And when they move together, they don't just create passion. They create harmony. And that's it for episode 98 of Crusade with me. To every couple out there trying to reconnect, trying to rekindle, trying to feel each other again, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're just learning to dance again. And you don't need to be perfect. You just need to stay present, keep flowing, keep loving, keep crusading for something deeper. So until next time, I'm Dave reminding you, where there is presence, there is power. And where there is balance, there is peace. And always crusade with me.